Hi, I'm Susan Papanicholas from How Does Your Garden Grow in Seattle, Washington. Thanks for tuning into our Getting Ready for Spring series. It's late winter in the garden. It's super cold, but this is a fabulous time of year to get a whole bunch of tasks done. You can do them efficiently and effectively, get them done quickly, and then when the spring growth starts in earnest, you've got your garden all set up and ready to go so you can enjoy all that beauty that is just around the corner. In this video, we're going to be talking about deadheading and pruning hydrangeas. I like to leave my hydrangea blossoms on the shrub throughout the winter. I think they provide great winter interest. This type of hydrangea that I'm standing next to does make seeds, and the birds come and peck at them in the winter. It's very pretty. And I really like to leave that in place, but now the plants are just about to start growing. The blossoms are looking a little tattered. It's time for them to go. And while I'm in here, it's a great time of year to do the pruning that might need to happen as well. Pruning hydrangeas has a reputation of being pretty complicated, and that's because not all hydrangeas get pruned the same. It depends on which type of hydrangea you have and when they set their bud. You do it two different ways. Some hydrangeas, like panicle hydrangeas, like Limelight, Bobo, Quickfire, there's a bazillion varieties of panicle hydrangeas, or smooth hydrangeas like Annabelle or Invincible, those form their flowers on new wood. What that means is that they don't set their flower buds until that new wood starts growing. So it's going to start growing in the spring and then make the flower buds for that summer's flowers. So at this time of year in late winter, there are no flower buds present. You don't need to keep that in mind in your pruning, and you won't have to worry about cutting off any of next year's blossoms. A lot of times, these hydrangeas will get pruned very hard. They can and often are cut back to about a third to half of their overall height. That produces very long straight stems with fewer bigger blossoms. You don't have to prune it back that way. You can leave it in a more natural state. I tend to like my plants having a more natural branching habit, so I try to do less severe pruning on my panicle hydrangea so that I don't get those super long straight stems. Anytime you cut a branch back halfway in the branch, you will promote longer, straighter growth out of that cut point. There's a really good example of it here where I cut this back to make it shorter, and what happened was I got 4 super long straight stems. I tend to like it better when I don't cut it back like that, and I get branches that are a little bit more natural looking, like these down here. But the nice thing about this type of hydrangea is that you have a choice about how you want yours to grow. And because they can be pruned severely or not, you could try it out differently in different years and see how you like it. So I'm going to try to do a minimal amount of pruning on this one so that I don't end up with those long shoots. And that means that I'm going to come in and look at places where it's gotten really crowded or congested and clear that out. I'm always going to be looking for dead or damaged branches and cut those out. And once I get the center of it cleared out and have it a little bit more open and structured, then I'll go through and deadhead the old blossoms. I can cut those back just by cutting off each flower down to the next bud, or I could cut them back by going several buds down. Wherever I make my cuts, I want to be looking for the buds and cut just above a bud so I don't end up with a little stalk past the bud that tends to die back. The new growth will come from where the buds are. This branch is growing straight into the middle of the plant, so I'm going to cut it off to open up the center a little bit and make it a little bit less crowded. Same with this one. So with this type of pruning, I'm taking branches off rather than shortening them to create the openness in the center that I'm looking for. I think I'm going to cut off this one. All right, that really went a long way towards making the center more open and reducing some of the congestion in here. Now that I've cleaned out the center of the plant And I've taken off any dead branches or branches that are rubbing together or getting damaged. I'm ready to just deadhead. And I can do that by cutting these flower blossoms off. These are the buds, so I could cut it anywhere along here. On this branch, I like where it's placed. I'm gonna cut it right there. So after I get all the flower buds off, I'll take another look at it, see where it's congested. That'll be the gist for getting this hydrangea pruned for it to grow in a more naturalistic way with a lot of branching and fewer long straight stems. If I wanted those big, huge flower heads, I could just come in and cut back to an even height and let those grow up straight and have the big flower heads on them and that straight new growth. Other hydrangeas, like this big leaf hydrangea in my garden, or oak leaf hydrangeas or climbing hydrangeas, form their flower buds on old wood. That means that at the end of the last growing season, it had already made its flower buds for the next growing season. So here we are in late winter, and those flower buds are already present on this plant. So I want to use a lighter hand when I'm cutting this type of hydrangea back so that I don't lose too many of the flowers that are coming up for next season. If I did need to do a heavy pruning on this, if it had gotten old and overgrown, had outgrown its space, had a lot of dead wood or congestion in the center, I can prune it heavily without hurting the plant. I just won't have as many flowers the next year. Hard pruning is going to cut off the flower buds. So on my hydrangea macrophylla, I'm going to start by looking for any dead or diseased tissue or little skinny branches that can't support a flower. You can see the dead tissue doesn't have live buds on it. It's kind of a different color. I'll prune that off. Over here there's one where the tip died, but I can see these big buds, so I'll prune back to those buds. This branch doesn't have any life on it, so I'll prune back to the base. Then, once I've gotten the weak stems out or the dead twigs out, then I'm simply going to deadhead this hydrangea. And I'm just going to take each of these flower stems and cut them to a set of buds shortly below that. If I hadn't gotten around to this job and the plant started putting its leaves out and I still hadn't cut it back, that's okay. I can cut these flower heads off really easily at any time. They're easy to see and easy to get to, so the timing on this job is not super critical, but I find it nice to do it at this time of year when I'm cleaning up the garden and getting ready for spring. So I would do the same thing for Hydrangea quercifolia, just cut off last year's flower stems. This is also a great time of year to deadhead your climbing hydrangea. Just snip off last year's blossoms if you've still got them on the plant. If you need to do some severe pruning of your climbing hydrangea, I'd wait till after it blooms so that you maintain as many flowers as possible. So after I get all these dead heads off, it's ready to go to put out that gorgeous new foliage that comes really early in the season and gives me hope for spring. And then we'll have a fabulous bloom season this summer.